We have a lawsuit to cover, and this covers a site similar to the blue and white website, if you know which one I am talking about. It is bad. There's gonna be a lot of trigger warnings, but I'll name it when we get there. This is going to be about the site passes. So to give you some history about passes, and for this video, which will be a little bit different than a lot of my videos, there's going to be probably less media that I'm going to show for obvious reasons. But the history is that all of this starts with a business called Fanhouse. So Fanhouse was created in 2020 and it was co-founded, and forgive me for mispronouncing the names, it was co-founded by Koi Lee, Jerry Meng, and Rosie Nguyen, except it is PG-13, and it raised $20 million in Series A funding. In 2023, it was acquired by Passes, which is founded by Lucy Guo. So the key figures I want you to remember is Rosie Nguyen and Lucy Guo, because there's going to be Twitter beef that gets into this later. Rosie resigned from Fanhouse. Remember, she was one of the founders. July 12th, 2023. We have this tweet which got 15K likes and 4.9 million views, where Rosie, who goes by the Twitter handle Jasmine Rice Girl, Rosie writes, "I made the difficult decision to resign from Fanhouse earlier today. I started the company to help creators like myself who need to provide for themselves and their families. I care deeply about creators and want to help creators in a way that will better align with my values. I am sorry I can't continue serving you all at Fanhouse. Since 2022, I haven't been an executive on the team nor driven many strategic decisions made by the company. Ultimately, I don't feel right standing by company decisions that I am not making nor understand. Those who know me know how much I love this platform and have dedicated myself to it, and I am sad and heartbroken beyond words. Fanhouse helped me put food on the table for my family when I needed it most, and I know it did the same for many others. I want every creator to know that I am so thankful for this incredible journey that I got to have, and that I will continue working to help support creators however I can beyond Fanhouse. My mission has been and always will be to help and empower creators." So thanking everybody for her experience at Fanhouse. So then there was this TechCrunch article that was written by Amanda Silberling, July 14th, 2023, about the Passes acquisition of Fanhouse. Here, Lucy Guo is talking about Fanhouse and how Fanhouse's regulations are really strict and that they're planning on loosening it for Passes to offer high-risk credit card processing. So even though nudity is not allowed on the site, it could work, if they were to do it in the future. Wink, wink. And then here, Rosie is talking about her hesitations, stating that it's not about the money, it's about what platform is going to take care about me, and that not all platforms have the creator's best interest at heart. Also, allegedly, back in 2023, don't know about that nowadays, but there is this post that was tweeted out by Alex the Human 95 on Twitter, writing, "Don't forget this creepy bit of information that Lucy deleted," in response to somebody commenting about AI usage. Lucy writes, "We use AI to determine if there's nudity. We also have a feature in the works where fans can buy AI-generated images of you, if you choose to enable." Do I need to explain how allowing an AI bot to make NSFW content of you is going to be really bad really fast? I don't think that's an implementation today, but oof. Rosie then put out this tweet writing, "A class action lawsuit for the distribution of child porn and exploitation of minors was filed against Passes, a company that I strongly and publicly opposed against acquiring Fanhouse. It genuinely breaks my heart that a platform I had built to empower creators is now part of one accused of exploiting children and promoting something horrifying beyond words. I did everything in my power to oppose the acquisition. When I was outvoted by my co-founders, I resigned from Fanhouse and rejected all offers of pay and equity to make sure I had no part in the acquisition, as I personally believe Passes to be a morally corrupt company. Months ago, my friends and I called attention to what we believed was a lack of age verification on the Passes site. We found what looked like fairly large accounts of underage girls selling and promoting sexual content on Passes, with screenshots attached. Creators I know have said that they were able to join Passes without any ID verification. It's difficult to believe this was a simple oversight rather than intentional design. I've read through the 33-page lawsuit, which alleges the victim was groomed and coerced into child inappropriate material at the hands of the Passes founder and employees, knowing she was a minor. I have always been supportive of where creators want to make content and have always wanted the best for creators. But if you're on Passes, I strongly encourage you to reconsider what platform you are enabling and giving your money to. Creator safety and child safety are not things we should be willing to compromise on. These are serious allegations, and I hope there will be justice for anyone who has been harmed. I stand with the victims and am heartbroken for them." So they then link the class action lawsuit, which we can see here, and it is posted by PR Newswire. And it kind of gives us a little bit of a rundown, but the entire lawsuit was linked. I read through it. I will give you a summary. It is a lot. So before I get into the summary, I'm going to put trigger warnings for minor exploitation, CSAM, and grooming. So proceed at your own risk. Again, disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. Listen at your own risk and go to the actual complaint to go and get a full interpretation, the actual lawsuit, okay? Don't trust a YouTuber's words. I am a YouTuber. I read through the 33-page document. Here is my TLDR summary from my interpretation of it. So the plaintiff alleges that they were knowingly recruited at years old and groomed to make explicit material for passes, that in 2024, Lucy Guo, the founder, knowingly loosened the restrictions on 15 and 17-year-old creators to allow this. The plaintiff and other unnamed individuals, who are all minors, have uploaded such content and it still resides in passes archives. And this is known by Alex Celestin and Lanny Ginoza. So, Alex Celestin, for some context, is the founder of No Photos Group LLC, which in the lawsuit is listed as one of the agents of passes used to recruit creators. Another agent is WLM Management, which also seems to have been made by Alex Celestin from my understanding. And Lanny Ginoza used to be employed by passes, and they were the previous director of talent and directly reported to Lucy Guo. The other two named defendants, No Photos Group and WLM Management, the two agents that are listed, it was listed in the lawsuits that they knowingly recruited minors onto the platform with the intent to create explicit content. According to the lawsuit, Passes, unlike other platforms, actually allows creators from 15 to 17 years old to be on the platform under strict rules. These rules were listed as follows in the lawsuit. 1. In order for a creator between 15 and 17 to join Passes, they need a verifiable parent signed consent form, B, a video conference with a parent to verify, and C, a copy of their parent's identification or license, or D, a successful knowledge-based challenge for the parents. Point number 2. So the restriction against a minor's receipt of direct messages, parent verification of the creator's age, and parental consent for posting, the use of multiple machine learning classifiers to review uploaded content before it could be posted to make sure it's not NSFW, the automatic deactivation of a minor's creator account, and parental notification if a minor uploads inappropriate content, the scanning of all captions and text sent by minor creators for banned words. By the way, I want to step away from the lawsuit 1 second to throw in my 2 cents. I get it in this day and age with the rise of competition. Because of how popular that blue and white website is, right? There's the rise of a lot of other competitor sites trying to differentiate themselves in the market. I get it. That's how it works, right? All these clothing brands, all these shoe brands, they're trying to differentiate themselves from each other, all these soda brands. Why is allowing minors onto your platform your differential factor? I mean, that's just me, bro. I don't know. What do I know, right? I'm not a startup guru or anything. I'm just a human being that, I don't know, is trying to exercise a little bit of common sense, and it feels weird to me. Going back into the lawsuit, Lucy Guo was alleged to have manually overridden all of these parental restrictions for minors. Passes alleges that NSFW content is not allowed, although according to the lawsuit, that's false. There is an AI machine learning tool that would scan for and flag NSFW content, which again, stepping away from the lawsuit 1 sec. How the fuck was that created? What database was that trained on? Around February 24th, 2025, Passes suddenly does not allow minors and removed the previous clauses from their TOS, the clauses of all of the restrictions, here's what you can't do. And the sentiment of this seems to be that they are kind of showing guilt, they removed it to try to cover their tracks. So the lawsuit adds that there are also allegations of Passes using exploitative practices to steal creators from Fanfix, a competitor site Passes was based off of. Now, these are all the previous things mentioned, onto the plaintiff, who was at the time of this happening. Around May 2024, Alex Celestin began actively recruiting plaintiff, saying she could make so much more money. She said she was going to wait until she turned 18, a month before her 18th birthday, so she's still. He tried recruiting again. He invited her to his mansion to shoot salacious photos announcing an 18th birthday launch, and had her sign a management contract without her having the chance to review it or to give her a copy. Which in the state of Florida, which is the jurisdiction this is overriding and where this all took place, minors are not allowed to enter into contracts without parental permission. Stepping away again from the lawsuit for 1 second, this is Alex Celestin's LinkedIn. I'm not showing you this for you guys to send hate. Don't do that. He graduated from Arizona State University. He went there from 2016 to 2020. That makes him currently 26 or 27. So at the time of the shoot in the mansion, bro is 25 or 26 years old. He is older than me. Why the hell is a 25 or 26-year-old man in a mansion with a 15-year-old girl taking softcore, you know what, photos of her? That is disgusting on its own to me. Like, is that technically illegal? I'm not a lawyer. It was alleged that the plaintiff was charged exorbitant fees for management, stating she would just make content and they would handle all the posting and managing of her account. Neither contract had parental guardian signatures or approval. Celestin actively knew she was. She told him many times, and he even took and uploaded a photo of her driver's license to Passes, so he has clearly seen her age on there. So they're still at the mansion. Celestin then called Lucy Guo to remove the parental verifications on her account so she could have an account without parental approval. Ginoza also pushed to have the DM ability opened up for her since she's about to turn 18, and Guo allowed it. A few days later, Celestin and Ginoza actively directed the plaintiff to take inappropriate photos of herself to upload onto the site, and she did so from August 13th to September 21st, 2024, with September 21st being her birthday. Passes knowingly marketed and distributed that content. The Passes AI machine learning bot actually flagged all of that content as inappropriate, and Passes did nothing, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit cites 13 distinct times where media, either one photo, a set, or videos, were sold with explicit content that were marketed for hundreds of dollars, with the highest price set at $800. On August 28, 2024, inappropriate photos of the plaintiff were leaked onto another website. Even her high school principal found out, and the plaintiff asked Alex Celestin for help. He said he'd cease selling the content till she was 18, and he did not do that. Around September 18th, so a few days before her birthday, Celestin and Ginoza told plaintiff to make explicit content about herself, but to not upload it until she was 18. Celestin then asked her to send it over iMessage and then quickly backtracked it because this is with the intent to promote it for her 18th birthday campaign. Unclothed photos of the plaintiff taken when she was still sold months after. There were references to whales, big spenders, and that being a big incentive for why Lucy removed the minor restrictions. One whale spent $47,000. Now onto the 18th birthday campaign. On September 16th, Ginoza sent nude photos of adult women with icing on their you-know-where for the plaintiff to recreate. Also asked her to do a birthday suit set and a shower set. Celestin, on September 18th, sent more example photos that are inappropriate to plaintiff to recreate, and the plaintiff did. They marketed with a graphic that had items on the list that were NSFW, that were selling content made when she was 18. On a side note, I want to add that, again, stepping away from the lawsuit real quick, some people might be like, oh, she was almost 18, and try to downplay it. I personally do not like this idea one bit. I already think 18-year-olds are kids, personally. You are legally an adult, but you are barely so, and you are still mentally immature. No flame, right? Me, when I was 18, I thought I was the most mature person ever. Now, at 24 years old, I realized 18-year-old me was an idiot. And point number 2, the whole quote, "you are almost X age," end quote, is literally verbiage that groomers use to try to justify their actions. And it becomes a really big slippery slope because groomers like to say, "you're almost 18." And then they will say, well, in like this state, the age of consent is 16. To, oh, but like in certain countries, you can get married as young as 12. This language is used by groomers to try to manipulate minors into engaging in behavior the adult knows is inappropriate. Because what do you mean? She's almost 18. If you're truly the adult you are, just fucking wait, bro. I already think it's so weird when adults, full-grown adults, like camp out a child, a 17-year-old, waiting for the day that she turns 18 so they can do you know what and not feel bad. That is weird. That is predatory. You are gross. That 18-year-old age requirement is not a magical switch that automatically makes your behavior not fucking weird, okay? Gooning at 35 years old waiting for somebody to turn 18 is wild behavior. That is the end of my lawsuit summary. Lucy starts crashing out on Twitter, okay? So Lucy tweets on March 2nd. The lawsuit, at least as it's related to Passes and myself, is utterly meritless. Some facts. I had 0 interactions with the plaintiff. Calls, texts, calendar invites, emails, etc. I do not have any contact information of hers. We have always taken action on violations swiftly, both proactively when fake IDs are used, moms make accounts, etc., and when reports come in. Nobody reported this account until recently, and we swiftly took action when it was reported. I do not condone the actions described, and Alex Celestin was not an agent of Passes, nor was he ever an employee. We are confident the facts are on our side and look forward to presenting those facts in court. Passes is a safe platform for brand friendly content creators, and we have strict policies to enforce our content guidelines. The conduct described in the complaint is a direct violation of our terms of service, content guidelines, and everything Passes stands for. Consistent with our policy, Passes took immediate action to suspend the flagged account as soon as concerns were brought to our attention. In her tweet, she tries to distance herself from Alex Celestin, but as we can see here, she has a very strong working relationship with Alex. This is Alex Celestin's Instagram. Here is them together, right? Where it reads 40 million in the bank. At Join Passes just got a lot more young, hot, rich, and famous. Congrats, Join Passes team, and go for it, which is Lucy's account. Them together again, where it reads no photos group, handshake passes. It's them together. Also a photo of them together. So here we have a commenter who writes, yes, from facts, it seems like total BS started by an OF creator who sees this as a money grab opportunity. And Lucy says she quite literally advertises an under 18 icon emoji to promote her OnlyFans because we did not allow the content she wanted to post on Passes. So this is Alice, where it reads, hi, I just turned 18. And you can see the DM me under 18 emoji. A couple things I want to say. One, a lot of times with these types of sites, the girls have a manager. So likely it's not even Alice making that post. So that under 18 emoji, likely Alice didn't even choose it herself because a lot of times, like what it said in the lawsuit, the girl is responsible for taking pictures. Somebody else posts it and texts and whatever, does all the other stuff. I want to add that I don't want to hear anybody blaming Alice because she was groomed. She was literally under 18 groomed onto these sites and they groomed her to continue making the content. Like when you're that young, you literally just aren't mature enough to understand the repercussions of doing stuff like this. You'll say things and do things that you might regret down the line. The whole point of having laws is to protect minors. She joined Passes under 18, yes. Passes allows under 18 creators. They allow creators from the age of 15 to 17 with parental guidelines. But the lawsuit alleges that those guidelines were knowingly removed for her account and that Lucy and two other people, Alec and Genoza, were knowingly instructing her to take inappropriate photos, unclothed photos of herself. So then this gets really messy. Lucy is like throwing Rosie under the bus and she writes, she was upset, referring to Rosie, that she could not buy Fanhouse for $200K and we bought it instead. She privately apologized to me and said she was out of line and she let the emotions get the best of her, and I told her I wanted to hire her initially because I thought the best in her. She then tried to extort me for money when I asked her to remove her tweets for mental health purposes. I had sympathy for her and thus did not release any screenshots of her doing this. However, I will not let my character be attacked. It's disappointing people and companies will use smear campaigns to progress their agenda. This is the screenshot that was shown between Rosie and Lucy, where Lucy says, my friends have stepped in to defend me to have their replies hidden by the creators, starting to think part of hating on me is for clout. But it's really rough when all I'm trying to do is answer questions and make the transition smooth, referring to the acquisition. Rosie says, I've told creators in group chats and privately that we've talked and I don't think Passes is a bad option. Lucy says, I know, but there's still loud voices on Twitter and obviously bullies because Twitter people do that. And Rosie says, but anything public for me is gonna have to be a sponsored tweet. Like, I wouldn't do that for free for any brand. And so there's a really big back and forth with this account by the name of Solernius and Lucy. So Solar writes, if nobody reported this account until recently, is it fair to say you failed to protect children from being exploited on your site for months? You aren't magically exempt from liability because Alec isn't directly on your payroll. And why are you responding to me with some weird shit about Jasmine, Rice Girl, aka Rosie? I'm talking about you using LP money earmarked for child education to build a site getting sued for the distribution of inappropriate materials. And Lucy says, every platform from Facebook to TikTok faces these problems. We try more than anyone to prevent this, including putting every image through a human trafficking API. We are also working on machine learning to try to detect age via media uploaded. So again, if you're working on machine learning to try to detect age, like, is your machine learning going to train on minors? I don't know. So then Solandis drops part of the lawsuit, stating that the suit alleges that the machine learning flagged the content and that it was ignored. Then Lucy says, no, our systems did not flag it because he was marked as talent manager. Whenever we do flag it, we have taken action swiftly. So Solar says, wait, so you built a bypass to the CSAM filtering that Alec took advantage of to profit from the distribution of C. You have obvious liability in a system designed like this. Lucy says, our system is stronger than any other platform out there. We run our image through a human trafficking API, and it's questionable her parents supposedly knew when she was 11 months old, which is when she joined the platform, and nobody reported anything. Also, there was no corn. She only took her content to OF. So I want to break this one down a little bit, right? Solar is bodying Lucy in the responses because Lucy cannot answer any of these questions. Like, all of her answers has a big hole in it. Point number 2, why are you blaming her parents? Like, sure, I would argue the parents do have some responsibility if they knew. According to the lawsuit, Passes took every action possible to not inform the parents. 3, I think it's weird that Lucy says she was and 11th months old. You know what that means? That means she was a minor, okay? But I think it's weird that she's trying to emphasize the and 11 months old, as if she's trying to show the plaintiff's proximity to being 18. To me, it reads as, oh, but like, it's not that bad because she was like really close to 18 though. You know, it's still weird. It's still weird to take a an 11-month-old and do this really huge birthday campaign. Look what you can see of her body once she turns 18. Do you not think that's freaking weird and disgusting? I hate how that's so normalized in this industry. It's so gross. Again, I am not blaming the girl. It is not the girl's fault in this situation. It is the people that are like telling her to do this. So Solernius adds, as I think about this more, it seems more and more ridiculous. Why in the world would you build an override for talent managers? What possible justification could you have for doing this? Was this override ever described publicly in your TOS? And Lucy says cost and trust. It's an important learning lesson for us. So what are you responding to for cost and trust? Is that in response to building an override for talent managers? Why do talent managers have an override for the machine learning API that's supposed to flag your inappropriate content? And then Lucy adds, again though, we have proactively taken accounts down swiftly when our systems detect issues or if something's reported. And Solar adds, but you're telling me that you turned off that system for talent managers like Alec, who then allegedly used that bypass to distribute C on your platform? If this is true, then I am shocked at how little accountability you are taking publicly. You can't just say, quote, this is all on Alec, end quote, when you gave him special privileges in the system that you built and profited from all of this. I also imagine he would have his own side of the story to tell, which I would be interested in. It's at minimum a massive failure of process, and I imagine it will be up to the courts to decide whether that crosses into criminal territory. And Lucy was silent after that. And then here's another person, Lewis, writing, Lucy shoots back. Celestin, never an employee. Okay, that's a positive. However, her tweet does not address whether somebody at Passes did a manual override to allow this young girl to post. And Lucy adds, we unfortunately only started logging admin actions in December. Wow, how convenient! I wish we had an answer to this. However, regardless of if there was a chat override, there was never permission to not abide by our TOS. It's either a yes or no, like there should not be a chat override. So because you're unsure, that means there is. So there were some more deleted posts. This was added by Tom, who goes by Drawl, where Lucy says, our machine learning classifiers did not catch this because he was marked as a talent manager, aka we trusted him. So he had permission. This is an oversight on our part and an engineering issue in terms of complexity. And then she adds, no, it did not because our machine learning classifiers were not running because he was marked as talent manager. They are expensive to run and we trusted a talent manager to abide by our TOS. Unfortunately, we were wrong about that. That's not a good look. Imagine being like, yeah, you know the protections that I told the angel investors that I was gonna put onto my sites so that I could protect minors? Yeah, they're expensive, so I turned them off. What the fuck? So then she weirdly makes it about money, right? So Today Calendar writes, that's so ridiculous, they have no case against you. And Lucy says, a talent manager told us a competitor told them they were behind this to bring creators back to them. Like, she makes this all about money and clout, which again, to me, reads as projection, because why is that on the forefront of your mind unless you're always thinking about it? Here is another screenshot example of Lucy blaming everything on Celestin again, where Twitter user writes, sounds like the Celestin dude is shady and trying to pull a fast one on the company. I don't believe this guy. And Lucy says, I wish I recalled the conversation, but I suspect he told us he had parental consent and our team just didn't verify it. So your verifications suck. It's active attempts to literally deflect and throw everyone else under the bus. So then Rosie put out her response, writing in reply to Lucy saying that Rosie is cash grabby and wanted Fanhouse for 200K. Rosie writes, these are literal lies and an insane misrepresentation of events. Lucy spent months trying to hire me, offering me pay 150K plus equity to work with her, and even using my friends to manipulate me into talking to her. I rejected all offers. She begged me several times to do a sponsored tweet about Passes, using her mental health to guilt me into feeling bad about her. I empathize because I struggle with depression and life-ending ideation myself, and I tried to lead with kindness. Still, I told her no multiple times, both over the phone and over text, and even in the very screenshot conversation that she cut off. Extortion, I gave up hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity just to have nothing to do with Passes and this acquisition. You are a platform being legally accused of profiting off of CS If you think me calling attention to allegations of that material and saying it's wrong is an agenda, I really do not know what to say. Children's lives are not an agenda. I want nothing but justice for any victims and children who are being exploited. So here are DMs. July 14th, 2023 from Lucy Guo. Lucy says, what you up to nowadays though? And then she adds, July 14th, hey, sorry, I think that came across wrong. I wasn't trying to hire you. LOL, crying emoji. I wanted to poach you. That's why I asked A16Z to connect us. I'm not a mean person for the record. I've never bullied anyone or said anything negative in my life. Like, I want you to have equity and passes, etc. Haha. Is there any world you can tweet that we talked and you checked out the platform and decided it's the best brand-friendly alternative? Still having tons of problems and people are bullying me nonstop. Like, actually nonstop. My friends have stepped in to defend me just to have their replies hidden by their creators. So I need to think part of hating on me is for clout. But it's really rough when all I'm trying to do is answer questions and make the transition smooth. Bro, this is what happens when you acquire a company. I mean, people aren't going to be happy about it all the time. And then Rosie writes, well, I wouldn't write that it's a sponsored tweet, and I also don't do any public tweets saying things that I don't believe in. Lucy says, how much would it cost? My mental health is being affected by the bullies, and I legit think a tweet on how we talked and it's clear we care about creators would help. And if sponsor, then add in that passes is the best option. Then Rosie writes, I don't think I would be able to say passes is the best option, just because I don't think there's any objective answer for creators, and I think it depends on each person and what they need. And Lucy says, that's fair. I do think we have the best fees and most flexible, yada yada, it got cropped off. And then Rosie writes, talking through with my friends and sorry, but I don't think this makes sense. I resigned and gave up 75K in severance just so that I could be able to say I'm not part of this deal and I didn't financially benefit from it. So for me, on both a moral and consistency perspective, I still don't really want to financially benefit from the deal, but I also don't want to attach myself to it for free. So I just don't think there's anything here, but like I said, I can be amicable in future tweets and still list out the objective pros of the platform if I make tweets related to that. About Rosie's statement, I want to add some extra information. I don't want people being like, oh my god, Rosie is money hungry, blah blah. So if you're not in influencer marketing and if you're not a content creator, you won't understand. But Rosie, under the brand of Jasmine Rice Girl, is a big brand known in the community for being a supporter of creators and being a girl's girl. Her tweeting about passes isn't just a tweet, but it's a public endorsement of passes using her Jasmine Rice Girl brand, and it will have a big impact besides just views and clicks. People who were hesitant of passes would have likely jumped on seeing a creator they like and support who founded Fanhouse, the company that was acquired, endorsing it. So yes, an endorsement from the Jasmine Rice Girl brand and from the founder of Fanhouse would be a big endorsement and worth a fair amount of money. It's worth compensation for that. So it is very commonly done in the influencer industry, paying influencers to vouch for products. I've been paid for it. It's very normal. You don't do this shit for free. And then Rosie continues, to be very clear, I was not upset that I couldn't buy Fanhouse. I was upset it was being sold to you. Fanhouse was my baby, and I cared about it more than anything in the world. I did not trust our creators in your hands and looked at ways to continue running the company myself. When my co-founders insisted on a sale, I actually begged them to consider selling to a different platform at a lower price, because I believe they were a morally sound company. I was not able to say the same about passes. Ask anyone who knew me. Look up every conversation I've had. This was never about money for me, and to try to paint that as a narrative, especially when it serves as a distraction to the child exploitation allegations, is truly disgusting. So here are some more DMs where Redacted says, Koi spent months talking to me about how bad Passes and Lucy is. Remember, Koi was also one of the founders of Fanhouse. I believe Passes is an evil platform and Lucy is genuinely a bad person. And then another person writes, so what is it you don't agree with about the new direction for Fanhouse? Just got an email about the merge with Passes. Redacted says, but honestly, Fanfix doesn't have as many features as Passes or Fanhouse, but I don't trust Passes either. And Redacted says, I don't trust Passes and wouldn't go there. And they say, dude, I'm shook no way Passes bought Fanhouse. More people freaking out about Passes buying Fanhouse. And then Rosie adds, anyways, here's a thread on the child exploitation allegations against Passes, which I still think is the conversation we should actually be highlighting. And these are new updates that literally came out today. I wasn't home. I was like driving. Jasmine adds, Forbes verified the existence of underage accounts posting sexual content on Passes, and Lucy herself admits in deleted tweets that CSAM protections were bypassed on certain accounts, including that of minors. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I could read this out loud, but there's a post from a 16-year-old that was seen by Forbes. The description reads as extremely inappropriate. One of a 17-year-old creator with a description that reads as extremely inappropriate, with lewd comments left by some random user named Mark. that looks like a middle-aged male. And then the Forbes quote reads, "Not hard to kick off creators who are under 18 from monetizing on a platform, unless of course you are intentionally keeping them on because you want to profit from them," end quote. And the Forbes article reads, "Interviews and media profiles have fawned over Guo's $7 million condo in a luxury Miami building designed by Zaha Hadid, her rose-colored Ferrari Roma, and her blow-up parties featuring exotic wildlife." That is disgusting that she's living such a lavish life on the backs of these kids. So Forbes is citing those tweets made by Guo that was deleted, the ones that I showed you. And then Forbes is stating that Guo allegedly posted to her Instagram on February 28th that she cut off contact with Alec a long time ago, allegedly, and that there was also 2 lawsuits filed by Fanfix, a rival platform, alleging that Guo recruited Celestin, who used to work for Fanfix, to try to poach new creators. And then Fanfix got a restraining order against Celestin, and then Guo was also sued by Famous Birthdays, allegedly over a claim she ran a script in ChatGPT to download and rework the profiles of over 100K celebrities and creators. Bro, I'm on there. That shit's wild. And then deleted tweets. Being sued by Famous Birthdays is actually wild. This was literally an hour ago. But Rosie then tweeted, "People have been calling out the presence of underage accounts posting sexual content on passes for months, yet the passes TOS still allows minors from 15 to 17 to join without proper CSMA protections up until this lawsuit. These were huge accounts generating immense income for passes. Did you miss it or did you choose to ignore it? There are sadly so many examples of children being sexualized on passes beyond just this lawsuit. If you're an investor, founder, or anybody still turning a blind eye to a system that exploited children, I really hope you rethink your values and ask yourself whether or not you want to keep enabling such a system." And this is a post made by an account with the name of Mythorium, who goes by the handle Michael. Michael writes, "Exposingpasses.com. A PDF groomer's paradise. Passes, advertised as a place to build community or connect with fans individually, is actually just for kids, and dangerously allows minors to become creators. The user base mirrors that of corn sites, and management agencies lie to girls about the kind of content they will post for them, creating a disturbing environment. Girls are digitally pimped out to older men. Look at the traffic analysis. What is this audience doing on a site with minors? Top categories. I don't know what site this is. Again, my top topics, my cam is blocking it, but it stands corn. Like this one says corn. Guys, if you are allowing inappropriate content, why are you also allowing minors on said platform? Because that is gross and that is weird, and don't be weird." Michael adds, "The exploitation is systematic. Management agencies run these young girls' profiles, posting lewd captions and selling revealing photos, likely without informing or getting consent from the victim or their parents. They promise money and fame, but in reality, they're turning kids into commodities. Passes does nothing to prevent this. There's no effective age verification or content monitoring, just a platform profiting from the vulnerability of minors. Look at these examples. Who do you think is the target audience of these posts? What age-appropriate audience would have the money to pay for these? Why are grown men buying POV or having a sleepover from a teenage girl?" Things to think about. Oh, so here we have a creator who is listed as 17, and there's like bikini pictures for sale with captions like all bare and natural, teeny tiny shorts and a teeny tiny top. Ew. Another creator who was listed with a birthday of September 6, 2006. She's 17 here. She's like a couple months away from her 18th birthday. Teen TikTok star's dad fatally shoots armed stalker who turns up at their home. Oh my god. Another creator. Oh, she's 16. This is the one where Forbes cites not your ordinary jammies. That was the one. Why is a year old selling pictures of see-through lingerie? Again, this is not the kid's issue. It is who the fuck let her do this. Like, where are the adults? Why is Passes allowing this? This should not be allowed on this website. Point blank, period. Again, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, they're gonna want to do whatever the fuck they want to do, okay? The whole point of restrictions is to make sure they don't do that. Okay, again, if you let 16-year-old me run free, I would have a sleeve of tattoos and like 10 piercings on my face, okay? I do not want that now. But this is why you don't let 16-year-olds do whatever the hell they want, okay? Again, more power to you if you want that today, but I was not mature enough, and now that I'm older, I do not want that anymore, and if you let me modify my appearance like that at that age, I would have done a lot. But yeah, the whole point of restrictions and protections is literally to protect the kids, to make sure this doesn't happen. Do not blame the girls. The girls are not the issue here. God knows you would have done dumb stuff at 16. I did do dumb stuff at 16. Okay? The whole point of rules, regulations, and these sites made by adults is to protect minors from themselves and doing dumb shit and the exploitation of adults. Okay? That is the whole point. The whole point is we don't do this. The whole point is we don't allow it, okay? And that we don't allow minors on sites where inappropriate content is allowed. Again, I think it's so weird to have a birthday surprise, you know, where you are like actively marketing their 18th birthday. Because you know what that means? That means like the content had to be made. When was the content made? Did she film all of that content the day she turned 18 and then post it? Or was it all filmed prior, you know, and prepped so she was not 18? And I think it's weird. And I think it's weird to go and look at girls' bodies as like a commodity, to like rub your hands together disgustingly, like, oh my god, I can't wait she turns 18 so I can goon without feeling disgusting. So gross. Still weird. Well, anyways, it's a lawsuit, so it's not technically legally binding until the court makes a decision. But the allegations that were presented against Passes are numerous and substantial and in depth. They need a lot to prove that they've got nothing to do with this because it is messy. And again, oh my god, I have the one final thing. Guys, they DM me. I never responded though. February 18th. I had the screenshot so I don't dox my DMs. Hello, Kat. We love what you've been doing with your brand and your gaming and streaming content and would love to help turn your supporters into a steady income stream with Passes. We've seen you already on coffee, but you can earn double by switching over. Also, I don't sell what you guys think I'm selling. I don't know if you know what I do on my coffee. Again, I am not shading anybody who does sell SW content, softcore content, and SFW content. I have a lot of friends who do it. I'm just saying that that's not exactly what I do. Passes is an invite-only SFW paywall platform that allows you to create memberships for your fans to unlock exclusive content, engage with you one-on-one, and provide you with tools to monetize your day-to-day life, as well as several other cool services. Some things you could achieve with Passes. A lawsuit. Sorry. Give your community access to BTS content, custom video requests for streaming questions, and a look into your personal life. Utilize our mass messaging and automated messaging tools to stay in contact with fans and earn money from pay-per-view content. Live stream to your followers to earn tips and donations, as well as giving you an option to implement a pay-per-minute feature for non-subscribers to drive them to sign up for your membership. Have an all-in-one platform for merch, donor goals, and more. Utilize our creator success team that will be specifically assigned to you to help elevate your profile and share best work practices for you and your brand. Yeah, wow. I'll be happy to hop on a quick call with you to go more in depth of your potential feature with Passes, including a preferential revenue split just for you. Yeah. That's a hard no. I didn't respond. I just left it on red. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's so long. He's a long boy. That is to wrap it all up. We'll have to see the results of the lawsuit to see what ends up happening out of this, but it's not looking good. Not looking good. And hey, my condolences with all parties affected because that is a lot alleged. Hey.